first completely private and independent university.
Bond University will take its place among the great universities.
The substance of the university is there. It's growing strongly.
It's not the buildings, it's what goes on inside, the spirit of a university.
It is a homecoming. You get to meet and interact with people that I haven't seen for quite a while.
It's a dream come true to Bond University. I doubt that there's a university anywhere in the world of any calibre that has the commitment and passion that the alumni of this university show.
That, I think, is the one great experience of this place, the friendships for life.
Well, the future has to be bright with these alumni out there doing good in the community.
Being in this place makes you strive to make you a better person more than you thought you could be.
Well, hello, and a big welcome home to all our Bondies tuning in for Giving Day, part of Homecoming 2021. I'm your host for today, Nick O'Hara-Boyd, and I'm sure I'm just as excited as all of you to be back home on campus. I'm a Bond alumnus myself, twice over actually. I completed my undergraduate degree in film and television, then missed the place so much I returned to Bond to study the Juris Doctor. We're coming to you live from Wednesday by the Water. It's a time-honoured tradition I'm sure many of you will remember, where Bondies can come down to the lake, grab a barbecued sausage, and take a moment to relax from their hectic study schedules. For our homecoming this year, we're doing things a little bit different. We Bondies live in more than 120 different countries, and with current travel and distancing restrictions, we can't hold the same event that we usually would in person. So we're bringing our first ever Giving Day to you virtually, so all Bondies across the world can join together and celebrate to support our alma mater this homecoming. We are reaching out to you in what has become an unpredictable and difficult time to be a part of our 2021 Ambition Appeal. The Ambition Appeal exists to support a wide variety of Bond students and alumni who need assistance to take their next step, whether it be help with bursaries, undertaking volunteer work, supporting higher degree research, or attending elite athlete competitions. So, how does it all work, and how can you be a part of it? Well, you can head to our website, it's alumni.bond.edu.au, and complete the online form to make your donation and make a difference in the lives of Bondies all over the world. Throughout today, you'll get a chance to meet some of the hard-working, ambitious students who are past recipients of the Ambition Appeals funding. It's students like these who you'll be able to support through your generous contributions. Today is also about celebrating all things Bond. While some parts of this place are literally set in sandstone, Bond has been shaping the lives of students for over 30 years now, and we've seen a lot of changes in that time. Some of you might not even recognise parts of this campus with how much has happened here in that time. I mean, have you seen the Sports Centre lately? I feel fitter just looking at it. Now, if you follow the Bond alumni community on social media, well, you'll know that we love a Bondie flashback every now and then, and what better time to reflect than in this broadcast today. We wanted to share with you just a small handful of what has been added to this amazing campus since 1989 and what has stayed the same in some very special Bondie flashbacks. The Adco Amphitheatre is home to the institution that is Wednesday by the Water and has hosted many concerts in its time on campus. It's become so ingrained in the lives of students, it's hard to believe it's only been here for 10 years. It was gifted to the university by, you guessed it, Adco Constructions, and opened here in 2011. The first concert held here was the very first Live at Bond, featuring Deborah Conway and Willie Ziegler, supported by then-student Julian Panisi. Shout out to Julian if you're watching, and I hope you're keeping up with your band practice. Another Bond icon I'm sure you're all familiar with is the Bell Tower. Who could forget hearing those dulcet tones of Super Trooper between classes? It's the soundtrack to life at Bond, and we wanted to offer something very special to those of you keen to donate today. You might not know, but our bell tower can play 17 different tunes, and we wanted to give one of our donors the chance to pick which tune gets to be played out today in an hour's time. When you make a donation through the form on our website, well, you'll be asked to pick your favourite bell tower song. Then if you're the highest donor, by the end of the broadcast, you'll get to choose which song will be heard across campus. So, get donating, Bondies. Those songs bring back some great memories. I can't wait to hear what you all vote for. Your donations won't only have a hand in picking the song of the day, but will go towards supporting our Ambition Appeal. Now, if you're still a bit lost as to how this whole Giving Day concept is going to work, we brought in our Head of Alumni Relations, Nicole Walker. She's going to talk through the finer details of today's proceedings. Nicole, welcome to the Giving Day studio.
Thanks, Nick.
Nicole, I wanted to ask you first, how did today come about?
Well, today is a really exciting opportunity for us. Obviously, it's homecoming week and Bond's turning 32 years old, so happy birthday, Bond.
Happy birthday. And
our alumni are obviously a big part of Bond's history. And today is a really special occasion where alumni have the opportunity not just to be a big part of the history, but also of the future of Bond. Obviously, when we come here as a student and then we leave, it's not a temporary thing being a Bondie, it's something that stays with us forever. And so we don't just hand the baton on to the next students, say off you go. We're still here all around the world, with fond memories of Bond and Bond ambassadors, and it's around bringing those current students up with us, and that's the key driver for today.
Yeah, fantastic. People will be donating today. How will those donations be used?
There's a range of funds, so on the website, alumni can look through there and have a look, but in short, there's the endowment fund, which is a long-term focus for Bond, so that's supporting the long-term future, where your donation's actually kept in perpetuity, it's not spent, and only 50% of the earnings is spent. Alternatively, alumni can elect to allocate their donations towards short-term needs, so where they'll have immediate impact, either through the Student Hardship Fund or other funds supporting current students right now.
And there's also a Limitless donation challenge.
There is.
Which sounds fun. What is that?
So I'm really excited for this. So obviously on campus we have the beautiful Limitless sculpture, which I think you're going to talk to soon, the Vice Chancellor, about that. But it's alumni can come on campus and find their name. Obviously many of our Bondies all around the world can't get here at the moment. So what we're wanting to do is for alumni who donate $100 today, we will head out there, find their name on the sculpture for them and send them a photo so they can see where they are and know that they're etched here in our heart.
Yeah, brilliant. Finally, before we let you go, what are you most excited about for today?
But everything, really. I was trying to condense it down.
Yeah.
I'm just really excited for everything. To see, we've got a long list of people that are going to be here speaking today, sharing their stories around why they donated, what Bond means to them, and as a current student, how this support is impacting them. And I'm really excited to share that out with the Bond community today.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming down, Nicole. I'm sure many of you watching at home will know Nicole, such an integral part of our community here at Bond. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we move on now to our second major change in the university's history. It's the Sundial, which was originally conceived as a fountain. As legend has it, the fountain had to be filled in because water was leaking into the computer labs below. So today, it's the iconic Sundial that we know and love, and a meeting place for many Bondies as they travel from the library, MLC, law and business buildings. The fountain was a very ambitious endeavour indeed, but speaking of ambition, let's talk about the Ambition Appeal. As the name suggests, the Ambition Appeal is all about supporting the ambitions of our students through scholarships, bursaries and support. During today's broadcast, we're going to speak to some of the Bondies who have been the recipients of the funds raised from the generosity of our donors. Welcome to the broadcast, Devanshi. Now, Devanshi, you're studying a Master of Nutrition and Dietetic Practice. You've received the funds from the Student Opportunity Fund. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So, I have received the donation, like from the Student Opportunity Fund twice. So, one was for my Mackay placement that had gone rural, and the other one was for the International Nutrition Practice subject, where we went to Fraser Island for our International Nutrition program there.
Yeah. What did you learn from that experience on Fraser Island?
So it was such a good experience out there. I'm glad. We usually go outside Australia to experience how international nutrition is done globally, to understand those aspects. But due to COVID, we could not go internationally, and we decided to go to Fraser Island, which was such a good choice we made, especially our professors made that choice. And we've learned about bush foods, indigenous culture, understanding how traditional owners and custodians lived on that land, and all the Dreamtime stories of that land. And while we were going through the walks, we literally picked up those berries, had them, and enjoyed that experience, which was such a wonderful experience of my life, I would say. And with all my classmates, like 13 of us, staying there, enjoying that. It was so good.
Fantastic. Did you see some dingoes while you were there?
Yeah, we just spotted one dingo when we entered, like on a four-wheeler drive. We were there. But other than that, we didn't. But the weather was so good. We've seen many ferns out there, like the king fern, which is one of the endangered species.
Yeah.
We saw them. We saw cycads, which are even the endangered species.
It's such an incredible place.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this. Once you graduate, what are you hoping to do?
Currently, my plans are to work, from this experience, I learned embracing your culture is so important.
Yeah.
And as an international student, it's so important for me that I realize that, and I want to spread that around the world. So embracing your culture with nutrition, bringing that together, and in future, I hope to work with UN and WHO to reduce hunger and poverty in the areas, and also work with the population which are malnourished.
Yes.
So that's my goal to work in future.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for coming down and joining us, Devanshi. Amazing insights into those incredible possibilities that the Ambition Appeal offers to our Bond students. Well, I think it's time to check how donations are tracking. I've just got word we've hit $1,687 so far, which is fantastic. That is our current total donations. Of course, you can still donate alumni.bond.edu.au to make that happen. Earlier in the show, we found out that a fountain was intended in place of the Sundial, but there are still a number of fountains across campus. One you might have noticed, which is just over my shoulder here, is the Fountain of Giving. This was established back in 2014 to help acknowledge the lifelong commitment that Bondies make to their university. The fountain is surrounded by plaques containing the names of members of the Bond community right behind me. If you're interested in purchasing one of these plaques, just head to alumni.bond.edu.au and make sure you stick around, because we're actually going to check in and see what names have been added to the fountain later today. While we're on the topic of names on a fountain, let's take a look at another big change to Bond University that celebrates our alumni.
Today, as of this moment, vision has become reality. The way is now ahead. From sandstone and a strong, unwavering vision, an institution was built to offer a student experience without peer. A university created to redefine the landscape, setting new heights for global education. In our first 30 years, almost 30,000 alumni have passed through our doors.
All our graduates can stand.
be successful, have great careers, and never forget Bond University.
With an unbreakable bond to the international networks and experiences that position them for success. Together, we have built a legacy. A legacy that continues to evolve today.
Bond University will take its place among the great universities.
As we strive for and reach new horizons in personalized learning, we continue to deliver a truly remarkable global student experience.
To my fellow graduates, thank you for your friendship. Please cherish the memories and friends, but continue making new ones. Goodbye and good luck.
Since 1989, Bond University has forged the way in law, business, society and design, health sciences and medicine, and sport. Led by great minds.
Bond University will become a magnificent jewel in the crown of Australian tertiary education.
With an even greater vision for the next 30 years and beyond. It's because of those who came before us that our future is limitless.
Yes, right under the iconic Bond arch sits this stunning sculpture, Limitless, which showcases the names of Bond's first 26,727 graduates. Now, no return trip to Bond is complete without taking the time to look for your name. I've done it myself. I'm way down the bottom. And our Vice-Chancellor assures us that there's actually a hidden message on this sculpture. Luckily, he's joining me in the studio right now. So let's see if we can get a hint. Welcome, Professor Tim Brailsford. First things first, Vice-Chancellor, can you give us a clue as to the secret message?
Yeah. Hi, Nick, and hi, everyone out there. We had a bit of fun with it. So when you're putting together a list of approximately 30,000 names, then there's an awful lot of letters there. And we thought, 30,000 names with all those letters, there's probably an opportunity there for some of those letters perhaps randomly to come together and spell something. Right. And we thought, oh, well, rather than just make it a sort of random string of characters, why don't we just arrange some of the letters in a particular way without in any way destroying the integrity of the student names to spell something out. So it was all done by a particular arrangement of a certain set of characters. It's great fun to come and have a bit of a look at it. Not too many people have found the message.
It's still very cryptic.
It's one of those things, when you actually see it, you go, how did I ever miss it? Look, my hint is that you perhaps want to stand with your back to the western sun.
Brilliant. Great insight. Let's go right back to the beginning. How did the Limitless sculpture get here on campus?
Yeah, well, Limitless was a project probably we initiated, or the seeds of it were back in 2017. So we were planning for the university's 30th anniversary celebrations, which were scheduled and went off fantastically well in 2019. But in order to do that, we really wanted to create a legacy project and something that recognised the contributions and the efforts of our students over our first 30 years. So the idea around that was, how could we come up with some, we started with the idea of maybe a plaque, and then we thought, oh, no, plaque's not quite right. It's not the Bond way, right? We've got to do something a bit more out there, a bit more adventurous, a bit more different. Yes. And so then we thought, well, if we had some form of sculpture, maybe we can bed the names on the sculpture. And so we sort of had two separate projects working together. So we had to identify the site, and it became pretty obvious that, like, underneath the arch, as you said, it's the iconic building. Everyone that's been to Bond knows about the arch. So you picked the site. We had to make sure that the site was appropriate in terms of getting some power and water and so on in there. Then we had to come up with the design of the actual sculpture, and then we had a separate project going about identifying those 30,000 names. And of course, those students who are here in the early days in 1989 will remember, while we had the old Mac computers, centralised databases weren't quite a happening thing. No. So it took us a long time actually to go back, because we had to go back through paper records and old files. Yeah.
We're here today for our very first Giving Day. Have you seen firsthand that the impact that donations to the Ambition Appeal and other funds here can have on Bond students?
Absolutely. So I think at Bond, many students will be aware of the Student Opportunity Fund, which has been running for many years. And the Student Opportunity Fund has always been a philanthropic sourced fund for students to access. And it was originally designed so that students could access some financial support to do something a little different. Perhaps some extracurricular, perhaps to advance their studies. And so the idea of the Student Opportunity Fund is sort of nothing new, but we've elevated that now, and we've renamed it as the Ambition Fund. I mean, consistent with what this university is really about. I mean, it's just realising every individual student's ambition. And so where we're going today is we would like the alumni community, and particularly those former students that have benefited from either scholarships or had the benefit of the Student Opportunity Fund, to dig in a bit, and so we can create a pool for future students.
Absolutely. And another fund we're raising money for today is the Endowment Fund. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so we know that universities, and the best universities in the world, have very large, deep pockets and reserves which they can call upon in a rainy day. And, geez, Nick, I think the last 12 months has really taught us all what a rainy day is about.
Right.
So we've been positioning for a couple of years to essentially put a bit of money aside each year and create a long-term fund that protects the university, gives it financial security. I mean, universities have been around for almost 1,000 years, and this university we very much trust is going to be around for the next 1,000 years. But we're going to have to just put a bit of money aside to make sure that we protect for the volatile times that will no doubt be ahead.
Finally, have you got a message for our alumni who are at home and watching today?
Yeah, g'day. Gold Coast is, as usual, magnificent place to be. For those of you who are unable to be here, either through border restrictions, or you're at work, or perhaps you're interstate and haven't been able to get back for homecoming week, look, this university is very different. You know that. It's unique on the Australian landscape. It's a really special place. And today is about ensuring that we provide a fantastic future for both the next cohort of students and indeed the institution itself going forward.
Well, thank you for being with us today, Vice-Chancellor. For Giving Day, if you make a donation of $100 or more, we'll find your name on the sculpture and we're going to send it to you, along with a picture of Limitless for your memory box. You can visit alumni.bond.edu.au to get started. The Limitless sculpture holds the names of alumni in perpetuity, forever. The Endowment Fund also works by holding donations in perpetuity, which means your actual donation is never spent, but it's invested by the university. Plus, only 50% of the interest earned is spent for things like funding the Ambition Appeal. So the potential size of the Endowment Fund is, you guessed it, limitless. Let's take a look at the work that was done to bring Limitless to life.
From start to finish, it's taken nearly a year. The concept was reflection, and it was to show the limitless possibilities of education. So the idea was that people that would look into the globe and into the sails would actually see their own reflection, but they'd also see the reflection of Bond, and ultimately with the names, they'd actually have some responsibility to the other people that had gone before them. That way, they could see how they're contributing to the globe, and vice versa, the globe is contributing back to them. It weighs approximately 1.5 tonnes, approximately 6.5 metres tall, 3 metres. It's stainless steel, marine grade, and it's mirror finished. The globe itself is actually sandblasted with a map of the world. And then we have the 4 pillars of learning, which are really the sails. If you notice, the top of the sculpture bursts open. So in other words, there is no closure to it. They're all supported by the 30,000, up to 30,000 names of the past students. They're the beginning. There's no end to it. Well, there is definitely something secret in there, which you have to find.
Well, for each one of those 26,727 alumni and every student here today, no successful semester of study can be completed without staying well fed. For every current Bondie, their one-stop shop for a quick bite to eat is Lakeside. You might remember it, though, as the Brasserie. Let's take a look at how it's evolved over the years. As you can see here, the bra, as I used to call it, has changed as much as the hairstyles of its customers. It used to sit across 2 stories in part of what's now the Student Association offices. The food has also evolved to keep up with the times, and I gotta say, I'm a little jealous that today's students actually get to vote for the items on the menu. I have to head over a little later, sample some of those chicken tacos that I've heard so much about. Another development of the past few years is a convenience store located, conveniently, right here on campus. There's no need to make the long trek across to Market Square anymore. All of life's essentials can be found right here at Bond Express at the foot of South Tower and just next to Lakeside. Of course, another tried and true food option for Bondies is going on right behind me as we speak. It's Wednesday by the Water and it is a Bond institution. We'd like to give a big shout out right now to all of the Bond senior staff who are manning the barbecues today and helping to welcome back our student body for the May semester. There they are, hard at it on the tongs, Vice President Engagement Catherine Marks, as well as the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Society and Design, Professor Derek Carson. Keep up the great work down there. We'll check in again with you soon. We'd like to introduce you to a donor right now who's responsible for one of the plaques on our Fountain of Giving. Of course, not all of the plaques are named for the donors themselves. Some are given in dedication to someone special in the donors' lives. Our next guest is one such person. Lara both is a former Bondie, a friend of mine, who dedicated her plaque to her late father, George. Lara joins us now. Hi, Lara.
Hi.
Lara, beautiful way to honour your father. Can you tell us why you chose to honour him in this way?
Yeah, thank you. So Dad absolutely loved Bond and everything that it stood for. So he saw Bond really as a platform to understand the bigger story, the bigger, see the bigger picture, and he was always about that. And this was his way of being able to really create positive change within himself. He was very successful here and for his family as well. So it was, it's special to have his name up there.
Yeah, I hear he had a motto that he lived by.
He did, yeah. Always a very positive man. So when Bond created the Limitless sculpture and even the advertisements that were all over the place at the time, the sky's the limit. Dad definitely lived by the sky's the limit. And yeah, always looking for more opportunities, which is, again, why I came here as well.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask you, because obviously Bond meant a lot to your father. What does it mean to you?
It's incredible, even just being back here, actually. It does give you a real sense of pride being here. It's a beautiful campus. My mum's come along here today as well, and she can see how incredible this campus is, and just the spirit that you feel when you are here, the positivity and the openness of people that are studying here. And again, something that my dad always said as well is to surround yourself with those who have a similar mindset and who would also like to succeed, and Bond is definitely the place to do that.
With your donation today, you could have chosen the song that our bells will be playing. Have you got a song that you would have liked it to be?
Well, definitely. A bit of Earth, Wind and Fire would have been great. We were keen on that one, but I'm not sure the clock tower can do that. But we did choose for He's a Jolly Good Fellow for my father, George.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming down.
Thanks
for joining us, Lara. Just a reminder that to be a part of our Ambitions Appeal process, all you have to do is head to our website. It's alumni.bond.edu.au and follow the donation prompts. Let's meet one of our scholarship recipients, Alex Kirchner, and find out how this amazing initiative has helped him on his journey to realising his Bondie dreams.
I'm Alex Kirchner and I'm studying a Bachelor of Business and a Bachelor of Laws. I'm also a swimmer. Both my parents carried the Connexin 26 gene, and so I was born deaf, and they realised at 11 months that I was in fact hearing impaired. Growing up, my disability was a big part of me that I didn't want to accept, and only in recent years have I realised that it's a part of me that I have to embrace, and I've started to represent the deaf community in the hopes that I can help other kids accept it earlier than I did and live a childhood as normal as they can. For my first age nationals, I decided that the Bond uniform was really cool, and I told myself that one day I would swim for Bond. Being offered my scholarship was a massive, massive motivator for me to come up here. I knew that I had to be fit to be able to swim with these guys. I hold 4 deaf world records in the 50 free, 100 free, 50 back and 100 back. Currently I'm at national for able-bodied and international for deaf. I've got the Deaf Olympics next year, so I'm hoping to medal and break more world records. For able-bodied, I'm hoping to make the 2024 Olympics. Obviously, I take my hearing aids out when I get in the pool, so that takes away a very large majority of my hearing, so I rely heavily on lip reading. I'm a big ambassador for the deaf community. I believe in helping other kids have a childhood like I did, a very lucky one, and I do that by representing them on an international level and representing Australia, which is a massive deal. There's a lot of pressure, but it's really good for me to be able to do that. It was a real honour to be named the Male Deaf Athlete of the Year twice in a row. I'll continue to support the deaf community and be an ambassador for them.
Yeah, it helps students like Alex achieve their potential. We move on now to another part of the Bond experience where the only constant is change. No faculty has to keep up with developments and innovation more than health sciences and medicine. This is especially true during a global pandemic when things can change on a weekly, daily or even hourly basis. Because of this, our health sciences and medicine facilities have to keep pace, and they've risen to the challenge with the faculty evolving significantly over the years. In 2019, the building was extended to feature even more state-of-the-art teaching spaces, a stunning multi-purpose atrium, study areas, the Institute of Evidence-Based Healthcare, and even a cafe appropriately named Pulse. We're right in the middle of our homecoming, and while it's a different kind of homecoming this year, we're fortunate to have still been able to reflect, reconnect and rediscover here at Bond with sport, a Sunday session at Don's, a guided walk on the Heritage Trail and a thought-provoking lecture series. Let's take a look at some of the highlights so far. Well, one of the special parts of being a Bondie is the connection that alumni have to the university, its students and community, even when they lead very busy lives themselves. One outstanding Bond alumna is the chair of the Alumni Advisory Board, Dr. Jennifer Cronin. Now, Jennifer started at Bond in its inaugural year, 1989, and returned in 2015 to undertake a PhD. She's built a very successful career ever since. Jennifer now lives in Hong Kong and is the president of Wharf Hotels. In 2016, she was awarded the university's highest alumni honour, the Robert Stable Medal. Jennifer couldn't be here today, but she has recorded a video message for us. Let's roll the tape.
Good morning, Bond University, from the beautiful Victoria Harbour, Hong Kong. I wish I could be there in person for Homecoming 2021. At least I can send my congratulations for the inaugural Giving Day. As a Bond alumni, we are so fortunate to have received the gift of a first-class education from Bond. We are honoured to have a plaque installed today from Barry and I in appreciation of the great Bond learning experience for both my MBA and PhD, degrees that continue to give me inspiration in my career journey, as well as opportunities beyond my wildest expectations. May the fountain of giving create a wonderful new legacy for future scholars and leaders. Be grateful for this gift of education. Gift it forward any way you can. Congratulations, Bondies.
If there's one thing Bond's known for, besides, obviously, the Arch, it's our awarded student experience. In fact, we've been named Australia's #1 university for student experience for 15 years running. I can personally vouch for student life, and a big part of student life is influenced by the Bond University Student Association, also known as BUSA, which was formerly known as Student Council. Joining me now is the current president, Jeremy. Hello, Jeremy. Now, besides Wednesday by the Water, and of course the infamous nights over at Don's, what other services and initiatives does Bond offer?
So one of the most important ones that we have is obviously Club Sign-On Day, which runs each semester. So that's an opportunity where all the clubs that are currently running on campus come down, get together, and all of the new students and current students have a chance to sort of walk through and see which clubs are there and work out which ones they want to join and want to get involved in. Obviously, we also then assist all those clubs in making sure that they're running and keeping up the good work. We have an advocacy director which assists students in dealing with any matters with the university, and then obviously just general support to all the students, any questions or queries that they may have.
And are there any traditions that BUS has kept running over the years?
Yes, so one of our biggest ones is Bond Stock. So it's currently in its 17th year, and unfortunately due to COVID, it'll only be its 16th sort of rendition this year. Yeah. We also run Mental Health Week, or Wellness Week as we've rebranded it, which is a week that's focused at sort of students' mental health and making sure that they're sort of staying happy during their studies. We also run an International Week for all our international students as well.
Brilliant. And this is, of course, our first ever Giving Day. You hope this becomes a tradition?
I really do. I think it's great to see all of the staff. I mean, it's really nice having two of the executive staff down there on the Wednesday by the Water barbecue with us. So I really hope, I think it's a great initiative, and I really hope that it does stay here for years to come.
It's looking like a big queue down there at the moment, isn't it?
It is quite big. I think that's probably one of the biggest we've had.
Jeremy, how would you describe student life at Bond in 2021?
In some ways, it's very different, and in some ways, it's still the exact same. So obviously, due to COVID, we've had to shift to a more sort of technological world. So obviously, it's different in that now we can join classes remotely and have the opportunity to sort of be interstate, be overseas, and still be here at class. But it's also the same in that obviously the lecturer's priority is always the students, and the sort of educational experience that we have hasn't dropped. I've personally seen how hard all the staff have worked to ensure that obviously the university is still providing such a great educational experience for these students.
And finally, have you got anything to say to the alumni tuning in from all across the world today?
Yes, if there's one thing I'd say, it's give back. Obviously, you know, this university is so great, and you've obviously all had a great experience here, but it wouldn't be possible without you guys giving back in terms of any way that you can, whether that's giving internships for the students. I know that with COVID and a lot of jobs, a lot of students are struggling with that, so if you ever have any opportunities, be sure to give them back.
Brilliant. Thank you for joining us today, Jeremy. All the best with everything.
Thank you.
Now that we've talked to one of BUS's reps behind the barbecue, I think it's time for us to see what's going on down there. Wednesday by the Water, it's a weekly barbecue for hungry Bondies. You may very well know it well. You may remember that Wednesday by the Water is usually run by BUSA, the Student Association, but in honour of today's celebrations, we have some guest chefs. On the tongs, we have Vice President Engagement Catherine Marks and Executive Dean of the Faculty of Society and Design, Professor Derek Carson. There we go, we can see them hard at work. Be careful with those thongs. Derek, I'm going to come down, have a sausage in a little bit. No one likes a burnt snag. There we go. He knows what he's doing. Fantastic. Let's have a little look around. We've got alumnus Jack down there. He's behind the camera. Jack, if you can pan, it's really looking like there's a few That queue is extraordinary. Everyone's looking very, very hungry. It is, of course, prime lunchtime. So, yeah, there we go. Lots of people lining up. Lots of hungry Bondies. If you're around, if you're near campus, get down there, join the queue. It looks absolutely delicious. That's great. Now, as I remember, Wednesday by the water, I feel like I'm there. But just a reminder, for those of you who've only just tuned in, we're offering a bonus incentive today for our highest donor. They will get to choose the song that the bell tower will play on the hour. You can head online to see the full list of songs. You could go for the stirring Ode to Joy, or maybe you want to hear the sounds of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star blaring throughout the campus. Our current top donor is... Let's see. We're standing by. Here we go. There we go. Nicholas Mitchell with a vote for Ode to Joy. Beautiful. $1,140. That is fantastic to see. Nicholas, our current highest donor. You can head online, alumni.bond.edu.au, if you want to make a donation yourself. During the broadcast today, we're taking a look through the archives and reflecting on what's changed and what's stayed the same over the past 32 years in a series of Bondi flashbacks. No conversation about campus would be complete without mentioning the bell tower. So joining me in the studio is the Director of Alumni and Development, Brett Walker. Hello, Brett. Now, Brett, I hear that you have a very special family connection to the bell tower.
I do, thanks Nick. And yeah, my father was here at the beginning of Bond, and he was here for the installation of the bells in November 1989. And at that time they installed a electronic system so they could preset the tunes and the times. A year or so after they started the bells, they actually had to change them because of complaints from the neighbours, because the 7 a.m. and the 6 p.m. bells, particularly on the weekends, were starting to annoy them. So now they have been changed.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m.?
That's right. That's when we think the bells play, but in fact, the songs are about 1 minute in duration each, and so they actually start in the minute in the lead up to the hour. So they don't actually play on the hour, and if you're listening to the songs, that's your reminder to get to class, and if the bells stop, you're late for class.
It's, yes, a good reminder. It's a pretty special bell tower. Can you talk to us about how it's different? What makes it so special?
Sure. So our bell tower is a collection of 9 brass bells, and this actually constitutes a chime. If you have 23 or more bells, that's a much bigger bell combination. It's called a carillon. So our bells were cast in the Netherlands in 1988. And then they were delivered on site in 1989 and then installed at the end of 89. And our bells, at the time they were the only set of bells like this in Australia. They're more elongated, so that actually allows them to play their notes in a major key as opposed to a minor key. And thus we have this collection of 17 songs.
Now, of course, everyone who donates today getting the chance to pick the song they'd like to hear from the bell tower. Our highest donor before the broadcast finishes, their song will be played. What would your pick be?
That's a hard one, but I think my pick would be Yellow Submarine, because it actually reminds me of this wonderful journey we're on here at Bond together.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for joining us, Brett. Appreciate it. I speak from experience when I say that sometimes all the excitement that comes with student life can be a bit overwhelming when you're trying to get some study in. Bond has always provided quiet spaces where students can knuckle down, a coffee by their side, and get some much needed revision in. But these spaces haven't always been the way they are today. The main Bond library has seen a few facelifts in its time. The biggest of these came in 2009. When it was fully refurbished to become the John and Alison Carney Library. The generous donations of Dr. John and Dr. Alison Carney meant that the library was updated to include individual study booths fitted with large LCD screens where the students can work on media presentations. There's nothing more frustrating than not being able to find somewhere to really hash out a major group project. But the new library allowed for the construction of large study rooms that could accommodate up to 12 students at a time. time, making those challenging group projects a cinch. Most importantly, in my book, it meant that the library could have its own cafe called Papyrus, which is now an institution and a favourite meeting place for students and academics alike. Just across from the library is the Balnaves Multimedia Learning Centre, known to all students as the MLC. This facility is open for students 24/7, always important when you have to pull an all-nighter. You may not know that the MLC used to be an art gallery all the way up until 2010. The MLC is filled with banks of computers and a full range of networked resources are available to students. There are also study booths. They're fitted for group seating and all the bells and whistles, including LCD screens, a document camera, ClickShare technology, even games consoles. A recent addition to the MLC is the studio, which is a content creation and production space with a green screen, professional cameras, lighting, and even virtual reality gear. The ideal setup for aspiring YouTubers, and of course our journalism and film and TV students. There is also the Global Links Room with state-of-the-art video conferencing technology. In recent years, international moots between Bond and the Sorbonne have been held there as well. Homecoming isn't just about reconnecting with fellow students, it's about connecting with Bond academics and staff too. And, as you know, today we are raising funds for the Ambition Appeal. But that's not the only way to give to Bond and support our students. We now welcome Professor Alan Patching, Associate Dean of External Engagement for the Faculty of Society and Design and Bond alumnus, to talk to us about the important role alumni play in helping students to gain internships, work experience and graduate placements. Alan, how can alumni help our current students with industry experiences?
Well, alumni for the most part will already be working, and it has a dual purpose, one for the students in giving them either an internship, a work experience of a shorter period of time, or even an immersion in the workplace for a little bit of time to build the students' confidence. But of course, it always also gives the alumnus the opportunity to see those people in action and know that just as they got successful through a Bond education, there are people following on who are very employable with our graduate attributes that we put everybody up with. And that's competence, good collaboration and global citizenship. And what organisation doesn't want that?
Absolutely. What companies are out there that are currently helping our students?
They range from very small to very large. We've got Hutchinson's, well-known builders, Turner & Townsend. We have, there's another one, Home Corp, many parity group. But perhaps the story that gets me the most is the very first person I put into an internship, a Bondi, 12 years or so when I was an adjunct. He went to a friend of mine who employed, he went through the industry, started his own business, it's growing like a rocket. He's now employing Bondies and he's taken on average 1 or 2 a year over the last 3 years. So our Limitless people are helping make his business limitless. And he started by giving them internships. Now he's given them jobs. And I think that opportunity exists for every alumnus who's in business.
Fantastic. How important would you say that experience within the industry is to a Bondies education?
I think it's completely important for 2 reasons. First of all, employers want someone, because from a student's perspective, it's all about the technology and the knowledge. For employers, it's all about the other things as well, namely the ability to communicate and all these sorts of things, initiative. They get to show that. So even if they don't get a job with the people who give them an internship, the people who give them the internships give them the leg up to a job, and all sorts of research supports that. So it's incredibly important.
Finally, how can alumni get involved?
Well, I think if they contact the Office of Future, not the Office of Future, the Career Development Centre, my apologies, the Career Development Centre, a lot of the alumnus I know, they can get in contact with me and I'll form that connection. And we work with the Career Development Centre to make sure that people looking for interns get the right intern so that everybody benefits from the process.
Thanks very much, Alan. That's fantastic. Great to see the other ways alumni can show their support. Well, we have a saying, and it goes, once a Bondie, always a Bondie, which means always lending a hand to your fellow Bondies when they need it. In Victoria, our Melbourne Alumni Committee has been walking the talk and raising funds to establish a bursary. When you donate today, you can elect for your donation to go towards a specific bursary, just like the Melbourne one. And earlier this week, we got the chance to speak with Jen and Sue from the Melbourne Alumni chapter to learn more about the initiative.
My name is Genevieve Collins. I live in Melbourne, and I'm president of the Melbourne Alumni Committee. I'm also a member of the MBA committee as well. I first started at Bond in 2002 doing my 4th year in psychology. I then subsequently completed a master in forensic psychology and an MBA, also all at Bond. And I'm currently founder and psychologist of a little business called Oasis Mind Body.
Okay, my name is Sue Colling. I also live in Melbourne, and I am Vice President of Melbourne Alumni. I began my studies at Bond Uni in 2062, studying a Bachelor of Business, majoring in marketing. And I am currently in transition to the role of GM at Oasis Mind Body.
This year, we're very proud as part of the Melbourne Alumni Committee to have launched the Melbourne Bursary. So we look forward to hopefully selecting an appropriate candidate later in the year and announcing that for next year. And I guess the inspiration behind it was really to allow a fellow Melburnian, either already at Bond or yet to transition to Bond, to really support them with travel and accommodation, to encourage them to try and have the experience that we all had at Bond University. And a little bit of a bursary might just be the difference between them deciding to stay in Victoria or transitioning up to Bond. The Bond network's always been amazing, but I think even more so during these times that are really difficult. And having come from, I guess, doing my undergraduate at one of the bigger institutions in Melbourne, I can pretty confidently say that the Bond network is very different. And now during these times, I think it's more important that we really lean in and try and support each other as much as possible on really a global scale. We have three different ways of people donating. One is through silent auction items, which we'll be using through our events. Another is an open link, which we'll keep open for the remainder of the year and probably ongoing for tax-deductible donations. And the third really is a sponsorship as well. So either a family or a business is able to sponsor and have joint naming rights if they wanted to sponsor a whole bursary, which would be at a cost of $5,000. So there's 3 different ways. And I guess the most important thing that I really wanted for everyone to think about is really just reflect and recall on their experience at Bond and the opportunities that presented themselves whilst they were there, but also most importantly, what's presented itself and the experiences they've had since as well, as a result of networks or because they attended Bond or the experience that they had there that's led to further opportunities. So I'd really encourage them to lean into that and remember what it was like and use that as a motivation for them donating back and seeing someone else also have that experience and that opportunity.
It's wonderful to be meeting multi-generational Bondies from all over the world today. Next up, we're going to hear from another one, Sanjana Bhatia, a senior advisor at KPMG and was appointed to the Alumni Advisory Board by the Vice-Chancellor this year. Sanjana graduated from Bond in 2017 and has completed a Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in accounting and finance. Sanjana, now you've stayed engaged in the Bond alumni since graduation.
Oh, thanks, Nick. Well, I think it means it's very prideful. I think everyone's very proud to be a Bondie, and you're part of a good community. So once a Bondie, always a Bondie. Yeah.
Absolutely. Congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you.
As a Gold Coast-based alumni rep, how do you plan to be involved?
Yeah, so I think my biggest motivation or, I guess, reason for joining the Bond alumni was to just try and get the Gold Coast community active and engaged, and also contribute and get into the spotlight what our Bondies are doing around the world. I myself personally know what they're doing all over the world, and it's some great stuff. Yeah. So just continue that engagement.
We're about to check out the revamped Business Commons. Have you had a chance to see them yourself yet?
I haven't. I've heard a lot about these. Of course, they come into play when we're not here, so I'm really excited to head on over after and have a look at them.
Very good. Thanks for coming down. Thanks for joining us today. Fantastic. Well, we are going to take a look now, a little bit of a closer look at the Bond Business School, which has undergone a couple of significant changes in recent years. The first of these was the introduction of the Transformer Hub. Now, you might ask, what is Transformer? Well, it's an Australian-first entrepreneurship program offered as extracurricular options for undergraduates and postgraduates from all disciplines. The hub itself was opened in 2017 and is a space where students in this unique program can meet, interact, collaborate with academics, alumni, mentors, and other students to take their projects to the next level. The hub was designed around the concept of accelerated serendipity. It features a series of zones where chance encounters transform into productive discussions, brainstorming sessions, and planning meetings. Speaking of chance encounters, the Business Commons area was opened here just over a year ago, in late 2019, even if it feels like a lifetime ago. The Business Commons is a modern, comfortable space that accommodates students in a variety of study areas, collaborative spaces, and informal teaching areas. Now, this is big, very exciting for me, maybe the biggest interview of my career yet. If you come with me over here, we've got the mascot, the myth, the legend, Bondy the bull shark. Hello, Bondy. Thank you for joining us today. Now, I know what you're thinking. I don't speak bull shark. Don't worry, I will translate. Now, Bondy, you are, of course, a very familiar face around campus. It hasn't always been the case. Before you were here, was it a tin can who was our mascot? No? A bin can? No. A beer can. Yes, a beer can. There we go. Okay. What was it, like a VB or a 4X or a Burley Brewing? Doesn't matter. No. What an honour to replace such an icon, though. Fantastic. I did want to ask you, how are you finding homecoming? Are you loving it? Yes, perfect. Can I get you to bust out some of these infamous dance moves? I've heard a lot about it. You just tearing it up on the dance floor in our Sunday sessions down at Bonds. There we go. We need to get you a TikTok. This is brilliant. Fantastic. Now, one rumour I did want to clear up. Of course, we've got the lake down here. Are there bull sharks in the lake? Is that a thing? No. What is it, like a bull shark code of silence or something? Yes. Okay. All right. I reckon I've seen a rogue fin or two. So, yeah, I reckon you might have as well. Thank you so much for coming down and joining us today. There's a high five. You're a busy shark. You've got places to be, people to eat. We will check back in with you very, very soon. But, of course, I hope you've got your vote in, because happening soon, it's our Bell Tower Challenge. So let's check in with that very special event. Well, speaking of bull sharks, Bond is home to bull sharks of another kind, the kind with two legs, who live on land and are deadly with a ball in hand. Our athletes, the Bond Bull Sharks. Bond's elite sport program has gone from strength to strength over the years. We've had Olympians, Commonwealth Games medalists, world champions and premiership winners all study here at Bond and play for our sports teams. Many of our athletes' academic and athletic dreams are made possible by donations from the Athlete Fund. Here to tell us all about it is Executive Director of Sport, Gary Nusifora. Gary, hello. Now, today we've been talking about the things that have changed at Bond over the last 32 years. Can you tell us a bit about the sport program and how it is now?
Well, for all of your viewers today, it's a very different landscape from when many of the people were here. It's probably in the last 7 years that Bond's made sport a cornerstone of its strategic vision for the future. And as a result, in the last 7 years, we've added something like 8 Tier 1 sports. The good news is that all of the sport clubs that everybody enjoyed when they were here are still very much in motion, all 21 or 22 of them. But in particular now, we've got the 8 Tier 1 sports, and they represent and are very outwardly facing for everything that we're doing here in Bond in sport, and it's quite impressive what all the athletes have achieved.
I wanted to ask you about the Elite Athlete Fund. How does that support Bond students?
It's very, very important. Our student athletes have a lot on their plate, and we have many, many international representatives. And as a result, trying to complete their studies at the university whilst at the same time undergoing very, very high-level training can be a challenge. And so what the fund enables those athletes to do is probably allow them to focus on their studies and as well as do their training. And although many do have part-time jobs, many people would be surprised just how many do have that responsibility. The Elite Athlete Fund allows them to call upon funds from the university once a year to a maximum of $2,000 and to help them with things like travel, insurance, tournaments. And because we have a lot of high-level athletes, they're travelling all over the world many months of the year in normal times. So it's an extremely important part of our athletic program.
We've got the Olympics coming up soon. Does it look like we're going to have any Bondies competing?
Oh, very confident that we will. We already have John van der Westhuizen, who's one of our kayakers. John's graduated. He's already been selected to go to Tokyo, so he'll be front and centre. We're expecting a lot from our swimmers. We've got an elite Olympic level swim program here, and we're expecting many. We could get as many as 5 or 6 swimmers in our representing at the Olympics. That's our hope. The trials are coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Gary, how can we support sport here at Bond?
The best way to support sport is to understand that the generosity of people giving today, particularly towards our sporting area, allows our athletes to not only complete their goals in the classroom and with their courses, but also simultaneously allow them to achieve what they're setting out to achieve in their respective sports. So giving and contributing to the Elite Athlete Fund is money very well spent.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Gary.
Thank you.
We've heard about the amazing athletes here at Bond. Now, let's meet 2 of them.
I'm Bree Masters. I'm studying a Bachelor of Communications Business, majoring in Marketing and Public Relations at Bond University, and I'm a track and beach sprinter.
It is Bree Masters. She was very impressive.
Here comes Bree Masters. She's tearing away from the field, taking the win there.
Masters was too strong in the end. What class from Masters in the yellow cap with a white stripe.
When I was 13, I became the youngest Australian to win a beach sprint Australian title. So at that moment in 2007, I kind of realised my potential and where I could go, and I continued from there, making state and Australian teams and up to the open level. Each week I'm doing 3 track sessions and 2 gym sessions. It includes sleds, block starts, speed endurance, a bit of longer work, a lot of mix of different things, and in the gym a lot of power and strength and speed and things like that. So it's a lot of different components put together.
And they're off. What a great start. It looked like Masters got a great start.
I tried for so long to try and get that gold in that open beach sprint title, and I kept grinding and grinding, and it wasn't until 2019 that I finally cracked that one, and I was super happy about it, and it was a feeling I couldn't describe.
Masters looking strong. Masters from Kerala. Forsyth from Corumba, but Masters claims it.
Just trying to stay relaxed and just focus on my own lane and just getting to the end. And from when the gun went, it was just go, 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 and right to the very end.
I've got multiple seconds and thirds in opens over the years, and just to finally take out my first open gold is literally, I don't know how to describe it. I'm so happy.
Masters certainly got the best position at this stage. She'll come out of the bend, I assume, in front. Bree Masters looking like she's got it under control. That one was all Bree Masters. A dominating performance from her.
My partner, he's won the stall gift and is in track and field, and him and my training partner and coach kind of started to convince me, maybe you should try this. I think you'd be really great at it. So there was just one small race in Brisbane that I decided, you know what, I'll go up and join my partner and race as well, and that's when I kind of gave it a go and fell in love with it. My second comp was the ACT State Championships. I was grateful enough to come away with the win in the 100 and the 200 metres against some great competition. And then I went to the Melbourne Track Classic and I ran the 100 metres, in which I did win that one as well. Sand is obviously an uneven ground and it's quite soft, so I like to focus on just getting my knees up and trying to skim across the sand. You won't be able to use the ground for force like you can on a track. So on track it's obviously very even and firm ground, so you can use the track to your advantage and use that bounce and force to accumulate speed. So it's very, very different, and there's not a lot of people that can cross over. It's quite challenging to do, but I think growing up in both sports I kind of learnt that along the way. I definitely think my knee lift is something that's come from beach sprinting. I get a lot of comments on how high my knees are when I run on the track. So I think a lot of things have come from beach sprinting and I have transitioned them to the track in my own different way, and that's just my running style and what works for me. I started studying my degree at Bond in 2019. I have been doing a mixture of full-time and part-time depending on my training loads, and the university has been incredible in helping me manage it all. Long-term goal, I would love to make the Tokyo 2021 Olympics. That's still a massive goal, and that's definitely still the one I want to achieve and the one I'm still working for.
My name is Jean van der Westhuizen and I'll be competing in the K1 and K2 1,000 metre events for kayak in the Tokyo 2021 Olympics. I'll be racing in two events, so the K1 event, the single event, and then the K2 event as well, and both over 1,000 metres. I'm originally from South Africa, so South African born, and I moved here about 2-3 years ago now. I was lucky enough to find a place like Bond University who could actually assist me in being able to train and study at the same time. I'm proud to represent Australia. Australia supported me more than I could have ever hoped for. It's hard to even put into words how much they've helped me along the way. There's a whole group of people that are working behind the scenes to help you, and I think knowing that, I'm super proud to be representing Australia in the Olympics, and yeah, I'll definitely hold our flag up really high. Since I discovered what the Olympics were, and since I was involved in a sport that competed in the Olympics, it was sort of always in the back of my mind. And as I sort of grew a bit older and I started getting a couple more good results, I think it sort of became more of a dream. I thought, wow, it'd be awesome to go to the Olympic Games. So qualifying for them, cheapers, it wasn't easy, and I've learned so much along the way. So to make my first games and to hopefully next year we can compete in them, it's truly, truly special. You train a lot and you train hard, and then for it just to be cut off like that cuts pretty deep. You know, there are a lot of athletes that were looking to retire the following year, so there's a lot of other people suffering way more than I did due to COVID cancelling the games. So I think it was all about perspective for me, and once I wrapped my head around that we had another year to improve and hopefully get faster, you know, then it started exciting me a bit more. When I first started, I just thought it was a cool sport to do, and I still think it's a cool sport to do. And what kept me sort of going, I suppose, was just sort of small role models along the way. Guys like Kenny Wallace and Murray Stewart, even my coach now, David Smith. I watched all of those guys, and I've been watching them pretty closely in their careers, and yeah, I definitely looked up to them. I mean, they've achieved everything I want to achieve within the sport: Olympic gold medals, World Championship medals, at the highest level. So to have that group of people around me who I used to look up to is just, it's absolutely amazing and super motivating as well. The dream is to obviously go there and win a gold medal, but I think my dream is probably a bit bigger than that, in the sense that I want to go there and get the best out of myself, and whatever result that is, then that's what it will be.
On the topic of sport, the university is always striving to keep its sporting facilities up to date, to keep our athletes in the best of health and fitness. To this end, the Bond Sports Centre was fully revamped in 2016. The new centre, which now stands in the iconic Bond sandstone to match the rest of the campus, includes a gym with state-of-the-art fitness equipment, 3 group exercise rooms, 2 beach volleyball courts, and a dedicated function area. There is also a new and heated 10-lane 25 25-metre FINA-approved short course swimming pool, which opened in 2019. In addition to high-performance sport, the university also knows the importance of being a part of a team, of the way sport can help to form connections and friendships. As part of supporting the cultural side of sport, the Fabian Fay Rugby Clubhouse was built in 2018. The Fay family were incredibly generous in assisting us with the creation of this pavilion, where up to 300 guests can gather to cheer on their team or just to meet up for events. They are huge supporters of Bond, and many of the family are proud alumni themselves. The clubhouse also includes new medical facilities and change rooms for the athletes themselves, helping to not only make our Bond Bull Sharks one of the best teams out there, but provide support to individual players on their Bond journey. A huge thank you to the Fay family for this incredible gift to Bond and its athletes. We've just seen the new Sports Centre, which is timely, because a while back I raced Alex Graham in the new 25-metre pool. It was extraordinary, not so much for me. So if you want to have a look at how that played out, I think we have it now.
All right, here we go. Ready? Set.
I was having a bit of an off day, to be fair. The Student Hardship Fund is a very important part of donating to Bond. It means students who are facing tough times and adversity are given a helping hand to overcome those challenges and continue to chase their dreams here at university. Earlier this week, we caught up with the recipient of the Student Hardship Fund, Martina Alaprandi. Let's hear what she had to say.
Hi everyone, my name is Martina and I'm from Canada, I'm Canadian, and I'm studying the Doctor of Physiotherapy program at Bond University, and I will be graduating shortly in about a month's time. I heard about Bond through a program called AusTrack, which is essentially an organization that helps Canadians apply to different schools in various medical fields. My experience studying through COVID was really stressful, but they really supported me. All my professors, even Bond gave us a little bit of a kickback on the tuition. And then of course the Student Hardship Fund as well was really helpful. Essentially what happened was they switched the platform. So instead of it being face-to-face traditional methods of learning, everything went online and they utilized different resources. I didn't know what was going to happen, how big this thing was going to be. And my partner at the time, we were together here in Australia and he couldn't get a job here. So I thought, okay, well, Bond is supporting me to go back home and study online. So I'm going to go back home to be with family and to be close to people that I love and still get my degree. It was really helpful. Because I went back to Canada during COVID, I had to make my way back in Australia. So now I'm in Australia. Thank God. The trouble was getting back here was extremely stressful and really expensive. The flights were constantly getting canceled. And I had paid for a bunch of flights that I didn't end up taking. So I was essentially like paying for all these flights and my credit card bill was racking up. So I think everything in the end, just getting back, cost me nearly $10,000, but I got some of it back, but still not all of it. It was really, really stressful. The hardship fund came in at a good time because it helped me cover some of those expenses. When you're a student, every dollar helps. So remember the times when you were a student and how stressful looking at your finances can be. And I know you obviously got to the other end now, so it's good, but it's nice to like look back and then think maybe this little bit of money will help them. Thank you to all the previous donors that have helped me. It was a tremendous help.
Thanks, Martina. Great to hear from you. Well, the moment has come. We've been plugging it all day long, and we are just about to hear the bell tower song that has been chosen. In fact, I think we've got the highest bidder. There they are right now. Nicholas Mitchell with $1,140. Fantastic. Nicholas has chosen Ode to Joy, so hopefully we can hear that in just a moment. What a beautiful song. Good on you, Nicholas, and thank you very much for that donation. It's been a great broadcast so far. I'm having an awesome time being back here at Bond. We've heard from some of our alumni, some Bond staff. We've even had a stroll down memory lane, learned plenty of fun facts to bring out at the next trivia night, but there's still so much more to come in the show. Like many of you watching at home, I'm a Bond alumnus myself. I first came here after I graduated high school. I studied film and TV alongside many of the folks who are bringing today's broadcast to life behind the scenes. In 2013, I returned to study law as a postgrad. I gotta say, my time here at Bond has been so rewarding and has set me up for what has been an exciting and varied career. Some of my best friends to this day I met here on this very campus. I still frequently spend time here with old teachers and professors who I'm now lucky to know as friends and industry mentors. As all Bondies will tell you, this is a very special family. That's enough about me. Giving Day is all about giving back to the university that has given us so many memories, opportunities and experiences. One of the ways to support current and future Bondies is through purchasing a plaque on the Fountain of Giving. We've dug through the archives and have found a group photo from 2001 taken from Bond's Foundation Day 20 years ago. Now, two people who have donated today are in the photo, Nicole Walker, who we met earlier, and her friend Marley. And we've just been advised on a few others. Denise Agnew, you're in there, Michelle Huang Walker, Ja Agabe, Peter Lawrence, and Romy Moore. Sam Fay, you might be in there as well. We're sure there's many, many more of you watching. So if you were around campus in 2001, head to the Bond Alumni Facebook page and tag yourself in the photo. We're more than halfway through the broadcast now, but there's still lots of time to purchase your plaque or make a donation. Let's have a look at the donations that have come in. Let's see if we've got some donors here. That's an extraordinary effort. Our current total donations at $22,477. That's so great to see. Brilliant. You can visit alumni.bond.edu.au to see all the ways to support Giving Day and to make a donation online. It only makes sense that one of the most striking and recognisable buildings on campus is Bond's Abedian School of Architecture. Thanks to the generosity of patron Dr. Sohail Abedian, our Bachelor and Master of Architecture students now have a state-of-the-art facility in which to design the infrastructure of tomorrow. The facilities run the full gamut from traditional woodworking equipment right up to a robust digital fabrication and rapid prototyping setup that includes 3D printers, a CNC router, laser cutter, and an industrial robot. How cool. Bond's industrial robot, one of the only 3 available in Australian architecture schools. All of this allows our students to move away from traditional textbooks and into what we call learning through making. That's the ethos, preparing them for design in the real world. What a spectacular facility. Now, we're joined here by Brett. Brett, this is an absolutely stunning piece. Can you tell me about this print?
Sure. So this is actually a series of 9 etchings that was created by one of Australia's sort of well-known contemporary artists. He emigrated from Latvia to Australia in the 1940s, and from the 1960s he became quite well known. And so in the initial construction phase of the university, these etchings were commissioned in 1988 and 89, just to commemorate the founding of our university. So these are entitled Birth of the University, Bond University, and so this is sort of my selection and the most iconic of the arch, and then we've got the bell tower and the clock tower.
Now, I understand that you have an art curator. What does his job involve?
Sure. So, look, unfortunately our art curator, John Walsh, couldn't be with us today, but I wanted to give him a shout out. So John takes very good care of our art collection. He hangs it beautifully on the walls so people can sort of stand back and appreciate the artworks. He manages the cataloguing of the collection and also cares for the artwork to make sure they stay in really good condition. And I think that inspire our students, our staff, our visitors to the campus, and also particularly our great art patron, Dr. Patrick Corrigan, who has actually donated or has on loan with us many of our artworks.
Brett, let me ask you this. What are some of your favourite pieces on campus?
Oh, that's a hard one because we actually have Australia's, if not the world's, largest private Indigenous art collection on display, and many of them are very culturally significant. And so some of my favourites are our very large Tommy Watsons that hang in the loggia up on the top of the arch. We also have some magnificent Ngata Nungarai in the Uni Club over in the University Centre, and also several Gloria Petiaris and possums in the University Centre. So it's just an amazing collection.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brett. Fantastic. Great to see you again as well. We're continuing here. Don't forget you can donate at any time today, alumni.bond.edu.au. Now, Bond alumni live in more than 120 countries worldwide. There are active alumni committees all over the world. In fact, the newest one was just established in Paris, and I believe that the Toronto chapter recently ran a homecoming trivia night. Closer to home, just an hour up the road, the Brisbane Alumni Committee are establishing a Brisbane bursary to support Brisbane students in pursuing their studies at Bond. We caught up with Chantel and Laura from the committee to tell us all about it.
I'm Chantel McNaught. I studied Bachelor of Laws at Bond in 101, which was easy to remember.
So my name's Laura Van Stecklenburg. I also studied Bachelor of Law and International Relations, starting in 101 also. So Chantel and I got to do our degrees together, and now we're on the Brisbane Bond Alumni Committee together as well. We're really just thinking about, well, how can we give back, and how can the Brisbane Alumni Committee give back as a group, rather than on a one-on-one basis where, whilst giving to the university on a one-on-one basis is incredibly important, to see the Brisbane Bond chapter and that name and tangible, perhaps, experiences from some of our students, we were really hoping that we could make that difference in the current student community.
Yeah, and especially if, we've got those students and graduates that may not have the resources. You know, we've got a diversity of socioeconomic conditions, and that's what's unique and fantastic about Bond is its scholarship opportunities. I was a scholarship recipient and also a bursary recipient throughout my Bond experience, and being able to contribute back to that is not only important but provides a lot of personal value as well, to be able to contribute to the new generation of professionals across our alumni. Your Bond journey never ends. And there are a multitude of ways that you can contribute. You know, that with homecoming, it can be a one-off. It can be something that you elect to do continually, or it can be something that is part of your involvement in your alumni community all over the world, because that's what is great about Bond. So for those who are considering it, it is extremely rewarding as well, because it isn't just something where you see it out of your bank account, you get to put it towards your tax concession if you are resident in Australia. But it is also something where you can see where the contributions go and making a true and real difference in the lives of the network.
And I think to our current and future donors, if you do wish to donate to the Brisbane Alumni Chapter Bursary, we will look to make sure that you're kept informed as to who those bursaries go to, how they're used, and the impact that it makes on those students. Enjoy homecoming. I'll be there on the Thursday evening. It's a great opportunity to network, keep in touch with people who you went to university with, and make future connections. I am still in contact with someone who I met at the very first homecoming I went to, and he's very much become a mentor. So you don't know where the experiences are going to lead you at homecoming, but they're always positive.
Yeah, and cheers, you know, it's just as much for celebrating your, you know, professional and personal achievements, as well as your colleagues and those fellow students that embarked with you and before you. And I can't wait to, I'm attending the Future Leaders Forum at the end of the week, and yeah, just like with Laura, there's networks and connections that you make in every step of the way. So I'm really looking forward to it, and having a good time with the fellow Bondies.
Bond has earned an international reputation for all of the work that it's done, but especially its law program. And as a Juris Doctor alumnus myself, I was blown away by the facilities and teaching during my time in the program. But in the last 5 years, the Faculty of Law has undergone a facelift, redeveloping its facilities from the Law Library to Legal Skills Centre, study spaces and more. Let's take a look. As you may be aware, Bond's law program has a focus on legal and professional skills, so the facilities have been designed to replicate a true legal environment. The moot court is modelled off the High Court of Australia, and the legal skills negotiation and interview rooms are decked out with two-way mirrors and microphones for coaching and assessment. The Law Library and Student Lounge has heaps of renovated spaces for legal eagles to catch up on study, assignments and group work. As an independent, not-for-profit university, student fees are reinvested into the facilities and experience. We've seen many examples of facility upgrades and enhancements today, and in addition, every semester students have the opportunity to contribute to the building fund when paying their fees. This semester, one family generously contributed $2,000 to the fund, which really helps to make all of these new developments and initiatives possible. Thank you all for your support. Some professors have been working at the university for literally decades and have become as set in this place as the arch itself. One person that many of you watching from home will remember is Professor Jeffrey Brand. Jeff, you're celebrating 25 years at Bond this year, which means that you must have started here when you were 5, 6.
Yeah, good guess, Nick. And I had hair.
Yes.
Back when I started. Actually, it's really interesting. I was in my early 30s. I had a new wife, a new country, landed a brilliant job here at Bond University. It was the job that I had trained for all of my education, really. And it was brilliant because I was meeting students. And I remember the very first day I taught at Bond University, the student said, "What will we call you?" I thought, oh, God, this is a trick question. How about Jeff? And it's gone from there. I love our students, and I've loved my career here.
Jeff, what's changed over the years?
Well, Nick, when I started, of course, Bond University was only 5 itself, really 5 or 6 years old, and it wasn't known very much. And I think there was a lot of suspicion and probably even a little derision, in the community. Maybe not the local community. I think most, folks on the Gold Coast were proud of Bond University, but I think on the national stage, other universities really doubted what we had to offer. What has changed is that we produce world-class research. We produce PhD students. We produce graduates who have had an incredible impact on the corporate and not-for-profit scene, as well as government scene here in Australia and around the world. So we now have a reputation, and I go to conferences now, and it's a completely different story from what it was, Nick, back in the 1990s. We're respected. We have colleagues everywhere.
Brilliant. And do you still stay in touch with some of your former Bond students?
I'm on social media. Of course I stay in touch. It's just so easy today. I mean, look, we don't live in each other's pockets, of course, but we do look each other up. I have students contact me sometimes, say, "Hey, I'm going for this other job. What do you think?" Or, "I remember when I was in the program, and that was one of the best things that ever happened to me." And I can say, hand on heart, my colleagues and I oftentimes will talk to students, and they'll say, "You changed my life." I'll tell you what, there's no better job.
Yeah, what an impact. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Jeff, what does being a Bondie mean to you?
Look, being a Bondie is something that grows on you. It's something that becomes all a part of you. It means that you've got family everywhere in the world. You've got friends everywhere in the world. You have a shared experience about what it means to change the world, to know that you can make a difference, that as our statue now says, under the arch, the opportunities are limitless. And I think for being a Bondie, you are a limitless individual making a great contribution to the world.
Well said. Thanks for stopping by, Jeff.
Thanks,
really appreciate it. Well, it's time to hear from a proud alumna who's purchased a plaque which will be immortalised on the Fountain of Giving. The plaque was installed not even 24 hours ago. We'll be taking a look at the shiny new plaques later on in the show. But now, let's hear from Annabelle. I believe she's recorded a special message for everyone watching today.
Hi, I'm Annabelle Simon. I'm one of the Alumni Ordinary members at Bond Uni, and I just wanted to say hi, a big happy birthday to Bond, and hi to all my alumni out there. I just want to reach out and say, try and stay connected, get involved with the uni. There's lots of ways you can do that. Go to some alumni events or do one of the online events that are coming up for homecoming, and hope to see you all soon. Bye.
One of Bond's 4 faculties is the Faculty of Society and Design, but you may not recognise it by that name. Previously known as the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences and Institute of Sustainable Development of Architecture, the Faculty of Society and Design is Bond's largest. Late last year, a new environmentally sustainable building was opened for the faculty, including flexible learning spaces, computer laboratory and an open multi-use space. It has enough solar panels to power 10 homes, charging stations for electric vehicles, and is made of recycled materials, including railway sleepers and power poles. The new building forms part of the Society and Design Precinct, which is also home to the Architecture Building and Sustainable Development Building, first opened in 2008. Bond University has one of Australia's most generous scholarship programs, and many of you watching today may have been a recipient of a scholarship. The Scholarship Fund helps high-achieving Bondies from all walks of life access Bond's unique student experience, education and limitless opportunities. By donating to the Scholarship Fund, you're directly donating to a young person's future. Let's hear from Deja Martins, one of our Indigenous scholarship recipients.
My name is Deja Martins. I'm a proud Kunkanji and Australian South Sea Islander woman. My country is Yarrabah and I also have family connections throughout Cape York. I grew up in Cairns, far north Queensland, and at age 14 I left for boarding school in Brisbane to broaden my opportunities. I currently work with my immediate family in our family business, and when I tell people that we spend all day in an office together, I sometimes get strange looks, but I wouldn't have it any other way. When I received my scholarship, I was over the moon. One of my initial thoughts was that there were many other kids who were just as worthy as me for this opportunity, and so I immediately felt as though I needed to do something purposeful with this opportunity. And the scholarship I had been awarded. The team at Inaugural really welcomed me from the day that I arrived and made sure that I had everything I needed throughout my entire degree. I was able to access tutoring services which really supported me throughout my studies, and the facilities were amazing, and I really felt like I had a place to go at all times, whether it was just someone to talk to or to complete my studies. The Inaugural Centre really offered those support services. I was definitely proud when I graduated, as was my family and my peers. It was really the beginning of my journey from that point on, and I recognised that while it was hard work, I had so much more hard work and exciting opportunities to come after graduation. So my outlook was always that university was a stepping stone, and I was so grateful that I had that experience at Bond to be able to then look forward to the opportunities ahead of me. My work is now centred around creating tangible outcomes for my people, and the Bond Indigenous Scholarship Program definitely played a vital role in this.
What Bond has done for Deja, and then what you're wanting to do with other scholarships through the university is great. Gives young Indigenous people opportunities that I didn't have when I went to university, and the generations before us. So I think credit to Bond for what they're doing in terms of providing these opportunities to go to a world-class university and give young Indigenous people an opportunity in furthering their education. So well done, Bond University.
I've learned so much about the university's history during our broadcast today. It's only been 32 years, but there are so many amazing stories in this place. In 2018, the Bond Heritage Trail was opened, so you can take a journey through Bond's history and around the perimeter of campus. The trail takes you past 15 sandstone blocks inscribed with the history and stories of Bond. Now, the trail is around 3 kilometres long, so it can take a little while. So today, we thought we'd show you some of the highlights.
We've marked out the perimeter of campus using sandstone blocks, essentially a recognition of the history of the university. There are 14 of them, and then on each plaque they tell a little bit of a story about the place. It's a way in which we can invite visitors into campus, we can invite the community into campus. It sort of defines our perimeter and defines our boundary, but probably more importantly it gives everyone a sense of campus walking around. Stone number 1, the origins of this university. Stone number 2 is dedicated to the central spine. Stone 5 is called the Pine Forest. It's dedicated to the original student accommodation, Town Meets Gown, Don's Tavern, Student Court, the Arch, the most iconic building on campus, the Ocean Way, a nice romantic setting by the water. Stone 11 is called the Sports Field, the Bull Shark Victory Ode, the Canal, the Great Hall, Thank you very much, everyone, for being part of the inaugural Heritage Trail Walk. It's a pretty decent-looking campus to just take a bit of time to look through. Every time you come back here, make sure you come around and do the walk.
Well, who are these two strapping gentlemen? Founders Corner, it takes once a Bondi, always a Bondi to the next level, and is another new addition to campus that many of those watching may not have seen before. Founders Corner is located at the base of the Arch building, just around the corner from the Alumni Centre, which we saw a bit earlier. And these bronze sculptures pay tribute to the founders of the university, Mr. Alan Bond and Mr. Harunori Takahashi. They were unveiled in 2016, just before the university's 27th anniversary. Without these two founders, Bond wouldn't be here today, and we wouldn't be able to call ourselves Bond alumni. Well, from alumni to future alumni, or as I believe they're called, students. Currently, there are around 4,000 students studying with Bonds. We can all vouch for the personal attention and support given to each and every Bondi, but the recipients of the Ambition Appeal have had an extra helping hand from donors. To get to know how the Ambition Appeal support can make a real benefit to our students, let's meet one of our recipients, Hugh.
My name is Hugh Maxey and I'm studying a Bachelor of Commerce here at Bond University. I grew up in Nevertire in outback New South Wales, living on a farm out there, and it definitely gave me a lot of independence from a young age and confidence in myself and my abilities to go out and do things that I set my eyes on. Earlier in the year, I was on the tractor and had been planting for weeks on end, and for hours and hours and hours, and sitting in that tractor planting the barley and listening on the ABC radio, and 80% tariffs are coming in from China, and that really sort of was quite the killer after coming into a good season and then once again having uncertainty about what it'll produce. The hardship fund has been extremely helpful. It's definitely taken away a lot of that financial pressure, and with all the uncertainty that's been happening this year, it's definitely helped me able to focus on my studies a lot more.
So heartwarming to hear about the difference that the Student Opportunity Appeal has made to the lives of so many Bondies. The Bond alumni community is truly one of a kind. Now, it's been a busy morning down at the Fountain of Giving and past afternoon, where plaques have just been installed for the alumni and partners who have secured a permanent place here on campus. We're crossing live to see how they're looking and whose names have been added to this very special fountain. We've got 12 new names. They've just been added. We can see them there. Jennifer Cronin, we caught up with her a little bit earlier on. Mark Johnman, Julian Murphy, Annabelle Simon. Fantastic. And of course, if you want a plaque of your own, you can head over to the website to make a donation. Our next installation, it's going to be next month. Well, that's all we've got for you today. Thank you for joining us online and for your generosity today so far. We've already raised, how incredible is that? $26,000, $792. Amazing. That is the current total donations that we have so far, but please keep them coming. Thanks again for your wonderful support. We hope to see you on campus soon, but in the meantime, stay safe, stay in touch with your fellow alumni on Facebook and LinkedIn. Our live broadcast, it may be over, but Giving Day is not over yet. You can head to alumni.bond.edu.au to make a donation or see all the ways to contribute to the next generation of Bondies. We'll be ringing the bell throughout the day with our donors' chosen tunes, so your favourite could still be played throughout campus. It has been an absolute pleasure being here with you today, and it's true what they say. Once a Bondi, always a Bondi. Bye for now.